one thing I dislike most about how we are invited to travel is this feeling of having to tick boxes off of a checklist. It seems that for a trip to be successful in the eyes of others, there are things you have to do, places you have to see, no matter how superficial these attractions might have become. Even though I can't escape these thoughts completely, I like to think that this isn't how I've been trying to travel. I enjoy walking aimlessly, and I value getting lost more than anything. I've always made the effort of discovering new places, new people, from a blank page perspective. In that regard, the last thing I want is to have a brochure telling me what is worth my time and what isn't. Sure, I might still feel a bit of frustration for missing some of the landmarks I'll later realize I didn't know were there. But I am convinced that it is my unwillingness to submit to the tourist mindset that allowed me to make the most memorable encounters. Those which to this day run deep and keep on living within me. 5 years ago, during my 7th stay in Japan, I revisited a few of the people I've kept in touch with over the years. I still had my cameras, but I also brought a camcorder. By finally putting this video together, I would like to honor our far-away friendships. To me, these fragile links have become more important than any type of image taking, though I cannot avoid the subject altogether, because it is through this endeavor that I've met them. The videos we are used to seeing would probably present the Shibuya Matsuri in such a way that would make Japan and its culture sound glamorous and fascinating, effectively making it more foreign than it actually is. I've come to object to the way a destination or an event is sold to us by the industry of tourism as a product to be consumed, because it is limiting our ability to forge independent opinions or to experience better human encounters. Social media and influencers unfortunately propagate this phenomenon to an unprecedented extent, but it only contributes to creating those tick boxes I mentioned earlier. I originally came across the Matsuri by complete accident. It was during my second trip to Japan, the first I undertook alone. I had been walking around all day, and on my way back I came across men, women and children wearing blue happy coats sitting on the side of the street where they were drinking and eating. Once I noticed the mikoshi, the portable shrine, standing nearby, I waited to see what would happen. I ended up following them as they began carrying the mikoshi again. I was truly intrigued by the whole procession. I remember taking pictures while still dragging my suitcase around. None of it was planned, and I must admit it made me feel something. It felt like the moment was special. Before long, people noticed me and started talking to me, offering me food and beer. That's how I met the participants of the Aiwa Chokai. Through this experience, I made a few acquaintances, and through the years, I became friends with a couple of them. They are Mariko and Takeo.
渋谷の祭りの意味は、ここに渋谷にいっぱいあるお店とかの、 神様にその繁栄を感謝するためのお祭りだと思っています。最初は越前屋の辻武雄くんに誘われてきました。で今は、渋谷もそうだけれども日本全体のその、繁栄を神様に感謝するっていう意味でおみこしを担ぎに来ています。
自分はこの渋谷で生まれ育ったので、子供の頃からこのお祭りに参加しています。なぜ参加したいというよりは、もうずっと毎年参加しているので、参加することが当たり前になっていますね。
If you took a moment to think about the folkloric or religious practices of your country, it would probably be easy to find parallels with the Matsuri. By doing so, one would realize that what seems to be very different and unique is in fact quite common, though the details may vary.
このお店は、越前屋というお店なんですけど、来年で100年目を迎えます。で、私はこの越前屋の4代目の、社長にあたります。
About a month ago, I learned that this part of Takeo's life was about to come to an end because of the economic impact of COVID-19, yet to close his store forever. A few days after the Matsuri, I went back to Shibuya by night. I went to see an old friend who's turned the streets into his domain. His name is Shinsuke Watanabe, but when he's out here playing, he is Subaru.
5年ぐらいずっと渋谷でギターを弾いてます。僕はもともとバンドをやってたんだけど、メンバーが全員辞めちゃってやることがなくなったから、自分の心の修行だと思って、ギターを街で弾くことをやってたら、それはみんな好きだったから僕も楽しくなってずっとやるようになった。みんな疲れてる人がいたらちょっとホッとしてくれたら嬉しいし、落ち込んでる人がいたら元気になってくれたら嬉しいし、一人でぼーっとしたいなと思ったら何も考えずに音を聞いてぼーっとしてくれても嬉しい、音を聞いてもらって何か感じてもらえたら嬉しいと思ってる。時代がどんどん変わっていくと、みんなが携帯電話をこんなに持つようになったのってこの最近だと思うんだけど、そんなに携帯電話みんな持ってたらすぐ警察に電話しやすくなっちゃったんだよね。だから路上ライブはどんどんやりにくくなってるんだけど、日本は。
The following night, Shinsuke wanted to try another location outside of Shibuya. One comparatively less busy, where the police wouldn't be a hindrance.
警察の人に僕は、違法じゃないという意識で実はやってて、実は道路を不正に使用するとか、法の解釈によって、違法じゃないと僕は判断してやってるんです。
I've seen Shinsuke being interrupted by police officers many times. Usually they check his ID and maybe ask him to sign a few forms. Then he has to leave. This means losing 30 minutes and having to relocate. But tonight we're in Ikebukuro, and there's no police in sight.
路上ミュージシャンに対してはすごいなんか偏見があると思う。路上のライブ自体はなんか そのアマチュアのアーティストがやるもんだっていうふうに偏見がすごいあって、実際そうだと思うし、だからあんまりこうアーティストに対してリスペクトするっていう人は少ないんじゃないかなと思います。路上は本当に大変だと思う。日本では許可が取れないから、警察に怒られたりとか、知らない人にいきなり襲いかかって来られる時もあるし、そういうのはすごい難しいんだけど、そうだね。けどみんなライブとかすごい好きだし、だからアーティストっていうなんかこうフォーマットみたいな中で活動するんだったら、良ければ評価されるし、良くなかったら評価されないから、俺は意外といいんじゃないかなって思うよ。
When I first met Shinsuke, I thought, the life of a street artist in Japan must be really difficult, because Japanese society is so strict. But in fact, the story he tells us could plausibly fit most big cities around the world. I'm not saying there isn't some truth about the ideas we have of other cultures, but that it is worthwhile to question preconceptions and let time help us create a better picture. After the live session, Shinsuke and I went for a 3 a.m. ramen. He offered me to stay at his place, as he had done a few times in the past, when I used to stay long after train hours to take pictures during his sets. But I declined, as I welcomed a few hours of walking through neighborhoods I've grown fond of. When abroad, distance and the flowing of time don't feel the same. I initially came to Japan thinking I was going to take pictures, but in the end taking pictures didn't matter, though it was a useful tool to discover others and to explore myself. You would think that after 5 years this video should have been finished sooner. The truth is that my thoughts and outlook have kept maturing. And it's only recently that I felt I would have something meaningful to say with this collection of good memories and moments of personal importance. Because this is what it really is, and nothing more. I have long abandoned any pretense to the contrary. At this point, the only reason why I want to go back to Japan is to see my friends, and to once more walk in the spaces where our shared memories took place. To wrap this up, I'll simply say that I'm happy I finally managed to share a process I've started about 10 years ago, and that it is a process that is still ongoing. I don't expect it to ever stop. I hope this video has given you some little things to ponder over, and that I managed to unpretentiously convey where I came from and where I might be headed. Even if to do so, I still had to dress it up in appealing imagery. But don't worry, I can live with the contradiction.